The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. At that time, Jesus said, I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He who is a hireling and not a shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees. And the wolf snatches them and scatters them. He flees because he is a hireling and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the Good Shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me. As the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And I have other sheep that are not of this fold. I must bring them also, and they will heed my voice. So there shall be one flock, one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life, that I may take it again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This charge I have received from my Father. The Gospel of the Lord. I am the Good Shepherd. Finally, on the back of this Sunday's readings, Jesus says that famous line, that almost universally quoted line in the Gospels, I am the Good Shepherd. I suppose it would have been enough if Jesus had simply said, I am the shepherd, you are the sheep. But Jesus says, I am the Good Shepherd. And so he draws a distinction between what is a good shepherd and what is a bad shepherd. An important distinction for us. Because a good shepherd, as Jesus explains, lays down his life for his sheep. Jesus sacrifices, gives up of himself in order to save the sheep. That was the garbage truck. Jesus gives up of himself in order to save the sheep. You see, the bad shepherd doesn't sacrifice. The bad shepherd is only concerned with himself. He's a hireling. He's only worried about the money he can get for the job that he's doing. He's not invested in the lives of the sheep. But the Good Shepherd is. And therein lies the difference. As we know, Jesus went to the cross for us, we who are the sheep, who are the flock. Jesus, who in the Garden of Gethsemane cries out, but ultimately says, not my will, but your will be done, Father. Jesus, who throughout the Gospels has said, I have come to do the will of the Father. Jesus accomplishes his purpose for the sheep by sacrificing his life that we may be saved. The Good Shepherd, the one invested in our lives, in our happiness, in our salvation. But what does that mean for us? Well, if Jesus is our example, if Jesus is our blueprint for the kind of Christian we ought to be, Christ-like, then we too have to be a people of sacrifice in the service of others. We are called as Christians to minister to one another. Ministry is not reserved exclusively to the office of the priest. We are called to minister to each other. And in that ministry, through the example of Christ, we are expected to be self-sacrificing, to give up of ourselves for the benefit of, for the service of the other, not expecting a reward, not doing it because we feel good about ourselves when we do it, but to do it for the sake of the other, purely for the benefit of the other. We are called to love one another as He has loved us. And love, as St. Paul tells us, seeks nothing for itself. No glory, no honor, no praise. Certainly no financial reward. Love just is. It acts, it does, for its own sake. Because it is, because love is love. Difficult to explain. Jesus says, I have other sheep also, sheep that you know not. And this may be a reference to the fact that sometimes we get bracketed in by our communities, by our cultures. We accept that we must serve, we accept that we must minister to our brothers and sisters, but we get bracketed in when we start to think about what that means. Who are my brothers? Who are my sisters? Well, they are the ones in my faith community, in my parish, in my culture, X, Y, and Z. But Jesus's outlook, God's outlook, is so much broader than that. The flock is so much greater than those simply in our community, in our culture, in our religious grouping. The flock is all of humanity. The flock is all people. And so we must minister to all of humanity. We must minister to all people. For remember, in the end, the goats and the sheep, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in prison, when I was lonely, you visited me. O Lord, when did we do these things? Whenever you did it to the least of these, you did it unto me. The flock is everyone. And so as Christians, as people of Christ, as Christ-like, we must minister to everyone. We must sacrifice for everyone. Finally, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. Nobody forces me to do this. Again, with a reward as well. I don't do this just to get a place in heaven. God hasn't put a shotgun to my head and said, be good or go to hell. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it out of love. I'm doing it out of my own free will. Nobody makes me do it. Nobody takes my free will from me. I minister, I care, I feed, I clothe, I give up of myself because I want to, because love compels me to, because it's the right thing to do. So, my dear brothers and sisters, a beautiful gospel passage. I am the Good Shepherd. A beautiful gospel passage that has deep and significant meaning for our lives as people of the Good Shepherd, as people of the Christ. We celebrate and we give thanks, we give praise and joy and glory to this Good Shepherd who gave up of himself, who gave up his life, who sacrificed for us, and who did it willingly out of love. And then we take up our cross and we follow him. We follow his example, and we do as he did, to the best of our ability. In whatever circumstance we find ourselves, we try by all means to be the Good Shepherd unto others, to live Christ-like lives, so that one day in the end we may hear those sweet words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Enter into your Father's house." Amen.